So I also wanted to give you guys the chance to help in creating a system. So in order to train AI, the AI needs information. And a lot of that comes from citizen scientists and people looking at pictures. So this is a SAS site about rainforest deforestation. And we are training the AI to see when a picture has deforestation or not. So you can see that we'll see an image in 9 parts, and we should put a check mark next to the places where we think human impact has existed. And one of the ways you can tell human impact from like a river is if you click on this needs examples, it will show you clear cuts are often roads and clearings, whereas like if there's wide rivers or round floating things, and there's some examples. So we're going to take a minute to help train an AI to figure out where deforestation is happening. So after you've played with that and sort of like been help to AI to help it figure out what is deforestation and what is not, you can learn more about what SAS is doing with this information on their website, which I linked to in the slides. Let's make our own machines. So I think you've all been to Teachable Machine before. We're going, so where we're using it in this case is what happens for these environmentalist camera trap data. It needs to go through an image recognition system. It needs to classify things, which is exactly what you're doing with Teachable Machine. So we are going to give Teachable Machine the chance to classify things. If you are in a position where your students can download a bunch of images and upload a bunch of images, then the way to make this closest to what happens in these wildlife insights style things is to use the image option and have it figure out, does this picture have a bird in it or whatever. It's often quite hard for students to download and upload images on school computers and take some time. So if you'd rather use the video and make faces and such, that's fine as well. And when you're ready, you can train the model. So given you all already know this system, I'll give us maybe about 5 minutes to play with it. One of the things I love about running Teachable Machines when I'm running this class online, some people cannot have their video on Zoom and their video on Teachable Machine at the same time, but some people can. So I have an awful lot of fun for the kids who can have their video on at the same time that they're working with Teachable Machine, just making silly faces and like, I had one kid who was making a whole bunch of exclamations every time he was, so let us spend approximately 5 minutes building a model. Like I said, image would be closest to what these systems actually do. So if you click that, probably standard is going to be best for you. And you can upload images you've taken, or you can just webcam. One of my favorites is to have it guess what emotion I'm having. So like happy. you can play with it while I'm playing with it. If you have objects in your room, I'm actually in a room that doesn't have very many objects. You can get it to recognize those objects.
I have a question about our previous activity about classifying different regions. So I'm just a little bit concerned. I mean, it seems like such an important task. I'm just a little bit concerned that everybody seems to can do it, because some of the students, they could try to be funny on purpose. So who knows what they're going to classify as. So is it going to skew the data then?
So I imagine I've also had students who do that. I imagine that SAS has a way of figuring out like good and bad data in the way that Google does, because this is just available on the internet to everyone. And when you make something available on the internet to everyone, people are gonna be jerks on the internet. So I imagine that they do have some way of probably taking an average, as Nick is saying, of like more people seem to think that this is deforestation than isn't. Certainly, whenever I show this off, I also feel nervous that I'm giving it wrong information. Like I don't mean to give it wrong information, but I can't always tell a road from a river. Um,
Thank you. I was just curious, thinking about, how people could use it in a lot of different ways. And some people may just not know what they're doing.
uh-huh. Okay, so we're at about the end of making models. I also have a worksheet to write down what each class is. It's a little bit easier now on Teachable Machine. When I originally wrote this lesson, it was the old version of Teachable Machine. But now you can label them. At one point, you just had class 1 and class 2. So how is Teachable Machine similar to the AI described in the videos that goes through satellites and camera trap data? Why are we doing this thing? Yep. The more images it has, better able it is to recognize, for starters. So the next thing, whenever I run Teachable Machine, the next thing is always to stress test it. Try to fool your machine. If you're in a classroom and you have students sitting near each other, they can try to fool each other's machines. Nora's going to show you all how to like save your models. So it's actually possible now to share your model with someone who's not sitting at the same computer as you. But you can also just, while we're here, try fooling your own machine. Like sometimes I've seen like pencil recognizers that they recognize the pencil this way, but there weren't any pictures of a pencil this way. Or like books versus boxes, things like that. If you have like an emotion recognizer, sometimes like your hands are in some pictures and not in others, so it imagines that your hand means the emotion. So I'll give you another minute or so. Try to fool your machine.
I just wanted to ask, I was trying to work with the Teachable Machine on background noise versus class. And for some reason for class, it doesn't let me record more than 2 seconds at a time. I don't know if this is something I'm not doing correctly.
Huh. Like if you go to webcam and then you hold to record and it's not letting you like.
Yes, but it's the audio file portion.
I very rarely do audio files. If someone else has done more audio files, I don't know if someone else has had that problem before. Might just be like they might. Well,
I'm just looking at it now, and it does seem to say the background noise is 20 seconds, I guess, to get a big chunk. But yeah, it defaults to 2 seconds for the other class or the other category. I don't know why, but I'm seeing the same thing. You just do a bunch of 2-second clips, right? Just do 100 of them or something, right?
I did. It only took me, it says 8 audio samples. I was trying to give directions to, I guess, an imaginary class.
Gotcha.
So people can share what has been fooling their machines. I've also had teachers do this, and back when we were in person and everything, and they were trying to recognize between 2 different teachers, and it turns out that what they had built was a glasses recognizer. Anyone with glasses was clearly the one teacher, and anyone without glasses was clearly the other teacher, including the teacher who wore glasses taking off their glasses. Did it work with the mask?
So we got different results, and it would recognize the mask better than it did the face, because I'm thinking because of more features that the mask entailed. It was like an over your head mask. Yeah, so we didn't try just the one that you hold up in front of your face. Yeah.
Cool.
I'm stuck on the last part, which is preview export model. Could someone show, please, what you do when you get to that last part? Because when I try to export, I just saw a lot of code. I'm not sure what to do with it.
We're going to go over that part tomorrow, but if you want to save what you have, I'm sorry, I'm not over talking.
Yeah, no
Sarah.
Please.
Yeah, you want to go up to the hamburger menu in the top left and save to your drive instead.
Thank you.
Cool. So we talked a little bit about what flaws people found. How could we improve the machine? Usually you just add more images. Like in the case of the person whose pencil wasn't recognized in this direction, you just started recording more pencils in that